Shocking statement. The Sunshine Premium is getting crushed by insurance and inventory. Multiple sources agree. Rising listings, longer days on market, and overvaluation are setting up a broad correction in 2025. In the next minutes, we'll run through 10 distinct markets that look different on the surface, but share one engine. Too many homes chasing fewer qualified buyers. Before I show you where investor flips are underwater and where new build pipelines are still dumping supply, please take a moment to like, turn on alerts, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any videos such as this one. Warning, be careful and watch before you write an offer. Number 1. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, UC Paradise. Buyers see 9,600 listings in Lee County and a price tag that won't stop leaking. The sky is blue, the canals sparkle, and every other yard has a fresh sign in the grass. It's real. It's happening. Here's the thing. Cape Coral Fort Myers ran through a perfect 3-act play. Act 1. Pandemic rush. Remote workers, 0% vibes, and sight unseen offers. Act 2. Builders piled in with permits and spec homes because money was cheap and demand looked infinite. Act 3. Pullback. Rates rose, carrying costs spiked, and that tidal wave of new supply hit a smaller buyer pool. Now the mood split is brutal. Prices are down roughly 5% year over year, but a lot of sellers still anchor to those 2022 dream comps. Buyers don't care. They're underwriting flood zones, wind ratings, and what the insurance adjuster will think about their roof. One conversation is nostalgia, the other is math. Drive a newer block and you'll get the visual. 3 identical new build signs on the same street, each with a bright, reduced rider slapped on. Incentives stacked like coupons, rate buydowns, closing costs, even backyard sod thrown in. That's not hot market. That's clearing inventory. Inventory sits at multi-year highs. Month-to-month trends keep slipping, and days on market stretch like taffy. Homes that used to move in a week now stall through 2 showings, a price cut, and a quiet second weekend. The feedback? Lovely home. Scary carry. Short-term rentals got hit too. Those investor Airbnbs that printed cash in 2021 now stare at softer occupancy and rising HOA fees. Cleaning cost up, insurance up. Platforms tack on new fees. The nightly rate you need to break even starts to look like a boutique hotel. Guests choose the hotel. Insurance is the sledgehammer. Quotes that doubled take affordable and turned it into nope at underwriting. You can stomach the principal and interest, but then the agent drops a premium that feels like a second car payment. Let that sink in. Price discovery drags when every seller waits for the neighbor to blink first. One cuts, the next holds, a third offers a credit but won't budge on list. Buyers sense the standoff and play for time. Appraisals come in light, inspections find small issues, and the deal reopens like a stubborn tab in your browser. So yes, expect more cuts. Builders need to offload spec homes before hurricane season, rewrites risk, and resets premiums again. They'll move inventory because carrying it is pain. The resale crowd will follow, not lead, which means the best deals pop where incentives stack and roofs are new. And the next comp that closes with a heavy credit will whisper the new reality to the entire block. So if you think that's heavy, the next stop is wealthier and wobblier. Number 2, Naples, Marco Island, where 6-figure down payments meet 5-figure insurance quotes. That's Naples. Marco Island right now. You bring cash, the coast brings fees, and the spreadsheet decides who blinks first. This market used to shrug off cycles. Cash buyers, gated communities, pristine beaches, homes traded like art. You paid for sunshine and status, and you didn't haggle with the weather. But here's the catch. Resilience doesn't waive the bill anymore. Even cash-heavy segments are flinching. Premiums climb, and condo reserves get stricter after the post-Surfside shift. The vibe changed from no worries to show me the budget. Buyers who could wire funds in an afternoon now ask for full insurance binders and reserve disclosures before they schedule a showing. You can see it in the micro moments. A condo that had a wait list during the boom now has a price-reduced card taped to the flyer box, and it comes with a special assessment. The listing photos still look crisp. The carrying cost does not. Insurers exit, premiums rise, and tightening condo laws require bigger reserves. That means the monthly nut swells even if your mortgage is tiny. The rules are straightforward. Pay into the reserve or the building falls behind. Either way, the owner pays. Let that sink in. Run the math. High HOA plus insurance plus assessment. The total hits like a luxury car payment, and it doesn't include hurricane shutters, impact glass, or the roof credit your insurer wants to see. People love beachfront sunsets. They don't love EFT drafts that feel like a second lease. International demand helps, but it can't paper over structural cost inflation and aging buildings. The pool deck looks great, the elevator looks fine, and then the engineer's report lands with a punch list as long as a CVS receipt. The buyers who used to say, "we'll take it," now say, What's the reserve study date? Sellers still post aspirational prices because last season's closing set a high bar. Buyers push back with credits for roofs, windows, and elevation. A cash buyer can close fast, but only if the numbers clear the insurance hurdle. It's not about taste, it's about risk pricing. So here's where the deals actually move. Expect selective softness at the high HOA older stock end. Buildings with old roofs or thin reserves will bend first. Newer, elevated, or recently mitigated assets hold better because the insurer likes them and the lender does too. The premium line item tells the story before the comps do. And when the next round of assessments posts, the gap widens. Buyers keep their powder dry, sellers shave the ask, and the units with clean reports float to the top while the rest stack up. Move north where the inventory curve looks like a roller coaster stuck at the top. Number 3, Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton. More than 4,000 extra listings and the longest waits to sell in a decade. That's Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton right now. You don't need a spreadsheet, you just need to drive a few blocks and count the signs. Builders flooded this corridor with permits when money was cheap. Capital was easy, demand looked bottomless, and every pasture became a construction site. The pipeline didn't slow when rates ticked up. It kept spitting out finished product into a buyer pool that got nervous. Then demand cooled. Days on market stretched toward that 90-day mark, and price cuts stopped being news. They're baked in. You list, you wait, you reduce, you offer something. That's the template. Walk a new cul-de-sac and it's copy-paste housing. Same elevation, same kitchen package, same driveway pavers. The competition isn't charm, it's the flyer at the door. Rate buy down this week. Closing costs next week. Free fridge if you sign before Friday. That's not limited time. That's a standing policy. Agents whisper the same story. Inventory ballooned, DOM hit records for this cycle, and weekend traffic looks good until you check the lead sheets. Lots of lookers, fewer offers. The serious buyers show up late on Sunday and ask the question sellers hate. How flexible are you? Resale owners can't match builder buy-downs. They don't have a finance arm, so they eat the price cut instead. 10 grand here, 15 there, plus a credit for inspection fines and a roof concession if the insurer throws shade. The net becomes the real comp, and the next listing learns fast. Here's the catch. Overvaluation met oversupply and comps got wobbly. One incentive-heavy new build closes, and the resale around the corner loses its anchor. Appraisers see the concessions. Lenders see the trend. Integrity of the comp stack takes a hit, and that's how corrections grind. Open houses feel busy. Parking spills down the street. It looks healthy until offer time. Then the low numbers roll in with long inspection periods and outsized repair asks. Buyers sense leverage like sharks smell blood. They're not rude. They're patient. So what's next? Watch for a second wave of reductions when spring listings stack onto winter carry costs. Taxes reset. Insurance renewals land. Builders stare at quarter-end goals and move inventory with deeper cuts while resales chase them down the ladder. It's like a gym in January. Crowded signups, then a quiet, stubborn attrition by March. If you're shopping, the sweet spot is the spec home with upgrades already installed and a seller who's paying interest on empty rooms. If you're selling, speed beats pride. Slide down to a smaller market where retiree demand meets reality. Number 4. Punta Gorda, a postcard river town where the for sale signs are multiplying quietly. Punta Gorda looks calm on a Saturday, but drive a couple canals and you feel it. More yard posts, more lockboxes, more call for details. That basically means wheel deal. Here's the thing. In a small market, every new listing lands with extra weight. You don't have endless buyers to absorb the shock. 10 extra homes in one subdivision? That ripples. 20? That resets what buyers think they should pay before they even tour. But here's the catch. Insurance. Older block homes, those 90s roofs, those pre-mitigation windows, are scaring off fixed-income buyers. The premium isn't theoretical. It's a monthly gut check. You can love the lanai and still walk when the quote reads like a car lease stacked on top of your mortgage. Canal homes used to move on vibes alone. Now they sit while roof age becomes the line in the sand. If it's flirting with the insurer's cutoff, buyers want a credit or a fresh install. They'll take a slightly smaller lot with a 2020 roof over a wider view with a 2006 shingle. That's not romance, that's risk math. Days on market keep stretching, and you can see inventory clustering by neighborhood where post-hurricane repairs were uneven. One street patched fast and looks turnkey, the next has blue tarp history and insurance drama baked in. The result is a weird micro-market where two similar homes tell very different stories based on roof permits and wind mitigation reports. Cash buyers still show up, but the tone changed. They want concessions. They want seller-paid credits for impact glass or dock repairs. Financed buyers get stuck earlier. Inspection turns into a checklist, the insurance binder stalls, and the file goes back to underwriting for one more condition. The deal survives, but only if someone writes a check. The gap between as is and what a lender needs widens with age. GFCI, tie-downs, elevation certificates, tiny stuff becomes leverage. A seller calls it minor. An underwriter calls it a risk class. Guess who wins? Seasonality isn't bailing anyone out. Snowbird traffic brings showings, not automatic offers. Price anchoring to 2021 is stalling deals because buyers can pull comps on their phone in the driveway. When they see a similar canal home that closed last month after 3 reductions and a closing credit, they're not paying full ask today. So where's the value? Updated, elevated homes, clear the insurance hurdle, and actually appraise. That's where transactions happen. Dated stock, the discount spread widens until it accounts for roof, windows, and the premium delta. The smart move is either list lean with proof of upgrades or plan for credits that cover the pain. Inland next, where new construction went from flex to burden. Number 5, Lakeland, Winter Haven, a non-coastal market with coastal-level inventory pain. That's Lakeland Winter Haven. It looks safe on a map, then the listing count smacks you in the face. You wanted affordability, you got a traffic jam of for sale. Polk County rode a building wave. Permits everywhere. Master plan signs sprouted like weeds. Then buyers tapped the brakes. Rates popped, insurance reset, and that conveyor belt of houses didn't stop. It kept dumping product into a shallower buyer pool. Tensions easy to spot. Listings ballooned. Values slipped about 2% month over month. Investors started tossing their marginal doors back to the market. The flip with vinyl floors and a gray paint job? It's sitting. The Bras Maillard crowd is editing spreadsheets and pressing sell. That starter home near I-4 used to get 5 offers by Monday. Now it competes with 3 near clones and a builder down the road, dangling blinds, a fridge, and a temporary rate buy-down. You're not special if your kitchen has white shaker cabinets. Everyone has white shaker cabinets. Let's anchor it with what's changed. Pre-pandemic inventory felt tight. New permits surging made it tighter for buyers and fun for builders. And post-pandemic, we're staring at stock that won't clear at yesterday's prices. The pipeline is full and the recent price cuts show it. You don't need a PhD, just open the price history tab and watch the step-downs. Landlords are getting squeezed. Taxes reassessed higher. Insurance premiums requoted like the algorithm hates you. Meanwhile, rents aren't lifting fast enough to save the cap rate. That dreamy 3-bed that used to pencil at a 6 cap now looks like a gym membership you never use. Money out, no joy in. Commuter calculus flipped too. Gas isn't cheap, tolls sting, and return to office mandates turn those easy I-4 drives into daily migraines. 2 hours round trip adds up. A lot of buyers are saying, if I'm paying this to get to Tampa or Orlando, the house better be flawless. Most aren't. Sellers are learning in public. It's not 2022. Pre-approval letters are back to being gold. Cash doesn't mean over-ask anymore. It means we can close if you price this like it actually appraises. Inspections are thorough, repair requests are long, and the word credit shows up in every counter. So here's your near-term read. Watch for deeper discounts on spec homes as builders clear Q1 and Q2 pipelines. Quarter ends force decisions. Carry costs hurt. The homes with sod down and model level upgrades will take the bigger haircut because time is the enemy. Then the coast where the brand is strong but the buyer pool is spooked. Number 6, Daytona. Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach. The affordable beach pitch gets wrecked by carrying costs. You see a condo near the sand that looks like a steal. Then you factor in insurance, HOA, assessments, and the smile fades faster than a sunburn. Prices looked approachable. Fees did not. List prices whisper deal, but the monthly outlay yells back. You're staring at dues, wind coverage, flood coverage, and a reserve line that keeps creeping. The brochure says budget friendly. The statement says try again. Here's the catch. Older coastal stock meets insurers pulling back, and underwriting gets twitchy. Roof age matters. Elevation matters. Wind mitigation credits decide if you even get a policy. A unit that would have cleared underwriting 2 years ago now needs proof of upgrades before a carrier touches it. Go a few blocks from the speedway and you'll find the condo with more assessments than amenities. The pool is fine. The elevator is pending review. The board just approved another roof contribution. It's not a vibe, it's a bill. And the monthly jumps before you even move a couch in. Inventory has drifted higher across coastal buildings, while premiums escalate hardest on older structures. That's the pattern. Listings last longer. Reductions pop sooner. The carrier's price risk, like actuaries on espresso, and the owners either pay or list. There isn't a third option. Short-term rental math used to bail people out. Not now. Rules tightened. Minimum nights, permit hoops, and higher cleaning and platform fees nipple margins. One more turn of the HOA screw, no weekend stays, no lockboxes, and the cash flow slides just enough to spook retail buyers who thought, "We'll Airbnb it," was the safety net. So here's the thing. When carrying costs rise faster than wages, affordable becomes a trap. A $275,000 condo can feel cheaper than a new car until the total monthly looks like a Tesla payment with a gym membership stapled on. Let that sink in. Sellers are holding for spring breakers. They think foot traffic will save them. Buyers are doing math in the parking lot and walking. They see the assessment notice in the listing docs, the insurance quote in the binder, and the HOA minutes flagging concrete repairs. That's not noise, that's price discovery. Where are the wins? Updated, resilient builds. Post-2005 codes. Impact windows, fresh roofs, strong reserves. Those move because insurers nod and lenders relax. Dated condos take the brunt. They sit, they cut, they offer credits, and they still lose to the building next door that already handled the big stuff. You want the beach? Pay for the resilient version or push for a deep discount that covers the carry. Now the Big Bay. Headlines say stable. The data whispers otherwise. Number 7, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. Active listings around 5,400 and flips going red. Yes, in Tampa Bay. You're scrolling and it looks busy, then you dig in and see the red ink. It's real. It's happening. Hillsborough and Pinellas were investor playgrounds in 2021 to 2022. Cheap money, easy comps. Contractors booked out for months doing the same LVPI, quartz, black hardware makeover. Buy, close, list, repeat. But here's the catch. The variables that made that game fun flipped at the same time. Month-over-month values dipping roughly 0.3% sounds tame. It hides the carnage on peak buys. I've seen deals down 10 to 20% from those 2022 tickets once you strip the lipstick and count the concessions. The spreadsheet still says profit until you add insurance and taxes. Then the margin disappears like a gas station taquito at 2 a.m. Take a renovated bungalow in Seminole Heights. Fresh siding, matte black fixtures, chef's kitchen that's never seen a pan. It sits. Not because it's ugly, but because the ARV fantasy is over. The comps that supported a dream number were juiced by 2% rates and cash FOMO. Today's buyer counts payments, reserves, and the roof's birth certificate. The research read is straightforward. Listing counts elevated, incremental MOM declines, and plenty of anecdotes from flippers swallowing losses. The receipts aren't loud, but they're there in price histories and withdrawn then relisted tactics. When the description adds motivated, it usually means carrying costs burn. Buy boxes are shrinking. Rates crush monthly. Insurance quotes feel like a second car. Taxes got reassessed off peak comp mania. The hold strategy, rent it out and wait, turned into a fire sale when premiums renewed and the escrow shortfall hit. That plan B is now, get me out before hurricane season. Here's the thing. When investors become net sellers, comps don't glide. They drift down fast. One discounted flip closes with a fat seller credit for insurance, and the next appraiser has to explain why your list price ignores it. You can fight the market. The underwriter won't. Bidding wars? Gone. You're looking at inspection credits, seller-paid insurance escrows, and a rate buy-down tossed in like a free month at a sketchy gym. Buyers want leverage on every line item. They're not chasing, they're daring you to blink. So expect sharper price realism in Q2 as more investors capitulate. Quarter ends force choices. Lenders start asking about days on market in the appraisal notes. The stuff that sat will meet the buyer where they live. In the monthly, the clean deals will move, the wishful ones will go stale, then drop, then finally clear. Head up I-95 to a market that's statistically overvalued and oversupplied. Number 8, Jacksonville. Overvalued by about a quarter and sitting on record inventory. That's Jacksonville right now. Sounds cheap next to South Florida, but here's the catch. The discount is an illusion when the market's stacked with listings and the comps are wobbling. Jax pulled in out-of-state buyers on a simple pitch. Space, jobs, lower costs. You got the beach without Miami prices. Suburban lots that didn't feel like postage stamps and employers hiring. For a while, it worked. The airport was busy, the moving trucks were lined up, and the median home price felt attainable. Then the music slowed. About 4,000 homes on the market, and price cuts show up in every zip code. You can scroll from Argyle to Arlington, and it's the same chorus. Reduced, motivated, seller credit available. That's not noise, that's a reset. Here's where you feel the collision. New builds in Nocati and resales in Mandarin are fighting for the same buyer. Nocati waves rate buydowns, appliance packages, and quick move-in banners. Mandarin counters with established trees, better commutes, and a seller who's suddenly flexible. The buyer pool? Smaller than either side wants to admit. The research read is straight. Overvaluation sits near 26%. Inventory at records. Days on market rising. Homes that used to clear in 2 weekends now take 2 months and a price shave. Appraisers see it. Lenders see it. Sellers eventually see it after the second reduction. Corporate relocations that once juiced demand have slowed. Rates didn't drop like everyone's December prediction thread promised. That leaves late 2023 list prices looking stale in March. The copy reads like last cycle. Won't last. It lasts. Overvaluation plus a supply surge doesn't crash in a single headline. It grinds. Think of it like a slow treadmill at a steep incline. You're sweating, but you're not flying off the back. Each comp steps down a hair. Each DOM tick adds leverage to the buyer's side. The psychology flips from buy now or be priced out to wait a week and you'll get a credit. Appraisals trail list prices. Underwriters circle concessions with a red pen. Closing statements show seller paid points, roof credits, and a home warranty tossed in like a free month at a sketchy gym. That becomes the real price. The next listing has to respect it. So don't expect a dramatic cliff. Expect steady step downs. $5,000 here, $7,000 there. A builder incentive that effectively cuts the price by another 2%. It's methodical and boring, which is exactly how corrections stick. If you're buying, patience pays without the FOMO tax. If you're selling, speed and a realistic pricing beat test the market. South Florida time. The insurance story goes from subplot to headline. Number 9, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. Fort Lauderdale inventory up about 80% and premiums up about 60% since 2019. Read that again. Listings climb and the monthly nut balloons. You get the ocean breeze, then the invoice lands like a brick. South Florida can attract wealth all day. Hedge funds, tech transplants, international cash, but it still has to pass the insurance underwriter. No binder, no deal. And even if you're paying cash, the carrier still prices your risk like a hawk staring at a mouse. Here's the catch. Condo reforms, tougher reserve requirements, and reinsurance costs shove monthly payments into the stratosphere. Boards can't kick the can on repairs anymore. They have to collect. Owners pay into reserves, insurers mark up risk, and the lender wants proof the building won't crumble mid-mortgage. Walk into a Brickell high-rise that used to feel like a flex. The HOA is jaw-dropping. Then there's a separate insurance line item that kills the vibe. You can love the view. The draft from your bank account is what decides. It feels like paying for a luxury car and the premium package. Every month, forever. Reuters tallied statewide insurance increases since 2019, and Broward's inventory surge backs up what you see on the ground. The data says up. Your wallet says out. Let that sink in. Pre-2020 listings with older roofs and single-pane sliders, they get hammered. Inspectors list deficiencies, carriers price them, buyers demand fixes. Cash doesn't erase actuarial math. If the roof's at the cutoff and the glazing isn't impact rated, the quote spikes and the buyer retrades or walks. Insurance isn't a closing table annoyance anymore. It's a valuation input. The premium shows up in back-of-the-envelope math before the showing's over. Buyers weigh a newer mitigated stack with higher list against an older discount that backfires when the carrier replies with a number that looks like a second mortgage. Sellers toss incentives. 2 points to buy down your rate. A year of HOA credit. Prepaid wind policy. Buyers shrug and insist on post-mitigation pricing. New roof, impact glass, modernized electrical, clean reserve study. If it's not already done, they price the work in and push the offer down. So the mini payoff is simple. Ultra luxury stays liquid because that buyer can swallow the carry. The mid-tier coastal stock with dated systems and thin reserves takes the hit. They sit, cut, then finally clear once the price bakes in the true cost of risk. And when the next reinsurance renewal rolls through, expect another round of recalculations. The buildings that invested move. The rest stall until the pricing gap embarrasses the ask. Last stop, small town Florida where inventory still bites. Number 10, Sebring. A quiet inland escape until you run the carrying costs. Sebring looks like the antidote to coastal chaos. Then you sit down with an insurance agent and the spreadsheet smacks you in the face. Cheap list price. Expensive every month, that's the twist. Lower prices drew retirees and remote workers. You trade the beach for lakes, golf carts, and a slower tempo. The pitch is simple. Median home price feels sane, HOA is often light, and you can get a yard without donating a kidney. For a minute, it works. Then the due diligence starts. Insurance spillover from statewide risk hits here anyway. And aging roofs kneecap financing. Underwriters don't care that you're inland. They care about shingle age, wind mitigation, and tie downs. If the roof is flirting with the cutoff, lenders get queasy and buyers get ghostly. The rate is one problem. The binder is the bigger one. That lakefront bargain? Not once you add wind mitigation updates and a roof replacement timeline. You score a view, then the inspector flags the 90s shingles, the panel without recent labeling, and slider doors that won't earn credits. The deal quietly adds a roof, straps, and impact glass to your first-year budget. Inventory in Highlands County has been rising, and days on market stretch hardest on older stock. The buildings that haven't touched roofs or electrical in years linger. Insurer roof age rules act like a bouncer at the door. No recent permit, no easy policy. Listings with fresh permits get showings, the rest get scroll-bys. The buyer pool is thin, so every new listing pushes pricing power back to the buyer. One more similar ranch hits the market and the previous hottest house becomes "make us an offer." It's musical chairs with fewer chairs than anyone wants to admit. Here's the thing. In small markets, price elasticity is brutal. 15 new listings can reset comps like a hard refresh on your browser. A single discounted sale with a seller credit for a roof becomes the new anchor, and the whole block recalculates overnight. Let that sink in. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more of the latest updates.